Hi there, this is Amy from Made for Math, and I am here to talk to you today about elapsed time. Now, this is a concept that you will want to go over with your student or your child after they have had plenty of practice telling time using an analog clock. So for today's activity, I'm going to show you how to model elapsed time, which is the amount of time that has passed using these virtual clocks provided by the Math Learning Center. And so here's their website, mathlearningscenter.org/apps. So they have a couple different really cool, if you haven't seen them yet, check them out, free apps. And one of them includes a virtual clock. And you can add more than one clock also. Down here at the bottom left-hand corner is where you will add a clock. And then once you add one clock, you can add another clock. I actually haven't tried adding three clocks, but if you make them small enough, I'm sure you can fill up the page. So what I have here are two clocks, and one of them says or gives a time when the child started playing soccer, and one of them gives a time when the child finished playing soccer. So the first thing you're going to want to do is down here on the bottom, you will see this pencil tool. And so you'll want to click on that pencil tool, and it's going to bring up some options. You click on this first one, and then you will see as you hover over the page that you should get a little icon that looks like a colored pencil. And you can change the color to whatever you want it to be. I'll just pick red for now. So the first thing I'm going to do is write down the time that this clock on the left says. And I have chosen to put the hour label and the minute label. You don't have to have these on here. This is a function of this app. You can also take it off, but I think it's a nice function. So it looks like this clock is a little past 2 and the minute is on the 4, which I know is 20 minutes. So this clock says 2:20. So that's the time you started playing soccer. And this clock says 3 o'clock. So we finished playing soccer at 3 o'clock. So to model how much time or how many minutes you were playing soccer, what you can do is you can go back to this first clock, and I'm actually going to move these hands until it's the exact same model of this clock on the right. So right now it's 2:20, so I'm going to start counting by fives. And I know this is 3 o'clock, so I'm going to stop counting by fives when I reach 3 o'clock. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and I would have to adjust this to say 3 o'clock to match that clock. So for how many minutes were you playing soccer? You were playing soccer for 40, and I'll just put the abbreviation for minutes, 40 minutes. Okay, so that's our first problem. Our second problem is a time when you started eating dinner and then a time when you finished eating dinner. So we have to figure out what the elapsed time is, how much time has passed as you're eating dinner. So if I look over here, it looks like on this clock to the left, I'm almost at 6 o'clock, but not quite. So I know it's 5 o'clock and my minute is at the 9, so I know that's 45. So it's 5:45 for this first clock on the left. And the second clock, oh, and the hour didn't, and the minute didn't show up. That's interesting. But you can see that you can leave it on one clock and not the other if you like. So the second clock looks like the hour is a little past 6, and the minutes on the 2, which I know is 10 minutes. So this is 6:10. So I'm going to do the same thing I did with the other two clocks, and I'm going to count by fives until my first clock matches my second clock. So right now it's 5:45. So I'm going to count by fives. Sorry. So I'm going to count by fives. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And then I have to, this one was going to go past 6 o'clock. So now it matches both sides. So it looks like you were eating dinner for 25 minutes. Okay, for my last example, I have two clocks again, and you might notice that the first clock looks a little bit different from the second clock and also different from the other clocks I've shown you. So there's an option to divide your clock into equal size parts. If you click on the clock, you'll see this green icon appear down at the bottom. And if I click on that, I'm able to divide my clock into different amount of parts. So I chose to divide it into 4 parts, so 15-minute intervals. So I just say, okay, and you can choose to divide it however many sections you want. And this will help me with my elapsed time. So let me go ahead and read the 2 clocks. So it looks like the clock over here at the left says woke up. So I woke up at a little past 7, 7:15. I started eating breakfast a little past 7, but now it looks like it's about 7:45. How many minutes were you awake before you started eating breakfast? So I want to know the elapsed time that's passed between 7:15 and 7:45. This time, instead of counting by 5s, I'm going to use these sections to help me. So I know from 15 minutes, where this section is right here, to the 6 or 30 minutes. So I know from 15 minutes to 30 minutes, that's 15 minutes has passed. And then to get from 30 over here to the 45, that's going to be another 15 minutes. And I can actually go ahead and I'm going to write this down too. And I'll change colors for this one. So I know this is 15 and this is 30 and this is 45 minutes. So from 15 to 30, that's 30 minutes. So now I would say it was 7:30. So, or I'm sorry, from 15 to 30 is 15 minutes. And then from 30 to 45 is another 15 minutes. And so it looks like 30 minutes has passed between the time I woke up and the time that I started to eat breakfast. So I would say here, 30 minutes. All right, I hope you enjoyed that quick demonstration of how to use Math Learning Center's free apps, especially this virtual clock to model elapsed time. If you haven't checked these out, go ahead and check them out, and I'll see you in upcoming videos. Take care.